Fairouz, for joining and participating with us at everythingcapetown.com for our Women's Month, celebrating Women's Month. Can you tell us a little about who you are and what do you do?
I am Fairouz Arendse. I am Face Delights. I'm a home-based business based in Hazelnell, Athlone, whereby I make all types of savouries, from normal, the everyday savouries, like people would think the butter pastry, the Morvello pastry, to local pastries, to vegan pastries. From the frozen items, I make platters, I make savoury platters, either mixed with pita breads and wraps and finger foods, that type of thing. So whichever way you want to have it done, I have my set platters, but I also have my custom-made platters. So I make custom-made platters according to the customer's request, whether they want to have a platter of 10 items or 5 items or 100 items, that is what I do. So the customer comes to me, tells me, look, this is what I want. I quote accordingly, and I pitch it to the customer. If they're happy with it, then that's the way we go.
Perfect, love that. Tell me, do you work on can I let you know now, today, for order for later, or how would it work?
Preferably not, because quality takes time to make, okay? At least give me about 3 to 4 days in advance, because I have various items, like I said, the normal everyday pastry, plus the low carb and the vegan. I would prefer, I keep stock, but stock is minimal. Number one, space is an issue, because I do work from home, but I'll also try and keep up everything, but quantities is not always guaranteed. So that is why I said, tell me 3 to 4 days before the time, and then I will definitely have what you want. If you come to me a day before, or 3 or 4 hours before the time, you need to unfortunately take what you have, what I have available. So yes, I can do last minute, but that all depends on what I have available and whether you want it or not.
Okay. Is there a variety, or are you only specific with either chicken, type savouries?
No, I do variety. I do have chicken savouries, basically my samosas, my pies, my half-ones. All comes in chicken, it comes in meat also. And like I said, I do vegan, which also falls in the line of vegetarian items, which is all meatless items. And then also the low carb savouries comes in everything also. Low carb with either being vegan or vegetarian or meat or chicken items, whichever one you want.
Okay, awesome. It sounds like a lot going on in your kitchen. And you know, when you're frying off, especially that heat, the oil, just being in the kitchen whole day, it affects your health. For me, it does, like with your muscles, it's your hands, your feet. How do you keep, or what do you do to maintain love in the kitchen instead of, oh, it's a job now?
My love for the kitchen came first before it became a job. Okay, I used to work for a corporate company at first, but I started making savouries probably like 20 years ago, or probably maybe even a bit more. In that process, when I started making the savouries, as I was growing up, becoming more of an adult, to put it like that, I started developing health issues, which issues like arthritis and high blood pressure, the normal stuff. However, the arthritis was quite severe at the age of like 30 odd, but apparently it came on since the age of teenager already. But at that stage, it became quite severe. So, having arthritis and high blood pressure, you needed to balance things out. At that stage, I didn't know, it was all just going to normal doctors, and doctors give a tablet, you take the tablet and you move on. However, I did find out that one speciality that I do, which specifically specializes in, is my pastry. Okay, so rolling out pastry made me feel better at the end of the day. The movement of the pastry, keeping active, not sitting still or not just doing one continuous movement, the pastry actually helped me to make the muscles feel better at times. Not all the time, but at times. Doing what I do, like I said, the love of being in the kitchen came before me actually opening my own business. Took me from doing the love to having a job, and the job creating an opportunity for me to go out there, but also putting money on the table at the same time. Covering my roof over my head, covering the bills, seeing to us as a family, seeing to everything. With that, balancing things out came to me, then trying to balance life out, to put it like that. Being active, working, which is my work, like 24 hours in a day in the kitchen, sometimes 29 hours or 30 hours a day in the kitchen. But yeah, the love came from being that, but keeping healthy, keeping sane, and trying to do everything, balancing things out. From there, I then took it, okay, work in the kitchen, but make time for yourself. Do your work, but make time for yourself. It's a mental thing, it's a physical thing, and it's at the same time, it's a thing of putting money on the table.
Yeah.
Basically.
I love that you touched on that point of the mental, because you have to persevere to put money on the table, but then, like you said, the balancing. Do you have maybe some advice on that?
From a health point of view?
A health point of view, balancing and being self-employed.
Yeah, self-employed didn't come as a choice at first. Like I said, I worked for a corporate company just over 20 years.
Wow.
And we were retrenched about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago. From there, I then decided to take my small part-time thing or my small weekend thing into a full-time business, which I'm doing now for just over 3 years. Alhamdulillah. The keeping sane, keeping healthy part of it came to that I stand up for 3 years. I'm up when it comes to 6 o'clock, or even if I is at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock, I'm up. I'm up in the morning. I make on my pastry, I roll out my pies. By 7 o'clock, I'm finished making my pastry. Then I decide, okay, I've got 12 o'clock appointment here, or 2 o'clock I've got classes to do, or whatever. I can squeeze in a run or a hike at 9 o'clock in the morning for 2-3 hours. I come back, I go for a hike. As a joke, my time out there started becoming known as my sanity time. Just to get out of the kitchen and get away from everything at home, just to go and relax. I've got a hiking group which we call Sanity Hikes now. It's a couple of ladies, we come together. It's a granny, it's a 35-year-old, it's a 42-year-old. We all just get together just to chill and relax, to balance things out. And then, like I said, I go out at 9 o'clock or even at 7 o'clock in the morning. I come back 2-3 hours later. I get in the shower, I'm done. I start rolling out my pastry again. I make on my 100 samosas or my 200 half moons or whatever the case is. And tonight I come, I make food on the table for my family. And alhamdulillah, that is how I balance life out. And it keeps me sane. It keeps me sane, honestly. I don't think I can do the one without the other, honestly.
Shukran so much for that. And it's very important because, like I mentioned, it falls in line with keeping your mental stability, on check.
Definitely.
With transitioning from stable income monthly for 20 years to having to now, what are we going to do every weekend, like I said, what type of challenges was different but you had to face and endure to be still 3 years now and doing better than when you started, of course, but I'm sure the challenges...
Yeah, no, definitely is challenges. When I started this, like I said, I used to work for a corporate company just over 20 years. It was scary when it happened, when we were retrenched. But I put my faith in Allah Ta'ala. I said tawakkal Allah. It wasn't easy at the beginning. It wasn't easy. Just I'm not talking about financially, but that mindset. That you needed to change over from, like you said, getting that stable income at the end of the month to going, am I going to have orders this week? Am I going to have orders next week? But alhamdulillah, you put your faith in Allah, the orders comes in. You take it as it comes, you pay your bills, you enjoy what you can, and alhamdulillah, both me and my husband, we're both self-employed. He also used to work for a corporate company, but we're both taking things day by day. It is something to get used to at the beginning. It can be stressful at times, especially if you have full bonds to pay, high accounts and everything. So if you come in a situation like this where you do have a stable job, try and keep your debts and your costs minimal if you can. If you can't, unfortunately you can't. But when you do the transition over, do not make any extra debt. Try and work with what you have on a day-to-day basis. It will make things so much easier. But yes, it is totally different to having a monthly stable income, to knowing exactly I'm going to get that 10 or that 20 or that 30,000 at the end of the month, and not knowing whether you're going to have 5 orders or 50 orders for the month.
Yes.
So there is times where you have only 5 orders for the month, and there is times where you have 50 orders for the month. But at 50 orders, alhamdulillah, you take the money, you put it aside. You obviously don't go spend everything at one time. You keep it for the rainy day when you do need it.
Shukran for that advice, and especially, I'm sure if anyone is watching this, it will hit them for the youth, especially like the debt part.
Yes,
you know.
no, definitely.
What attracted you? I know you said you've been in the kitchen and baking for a while, but what attracted you to the baking, to the making up the pastry, the samosas and everything?
No, that is easy. I come from a home where my mom used to make her pastry on her own from scratch for years and years, and she never till this day still. My mom has never showed me how to make pastry, but I've just picked it up by eye. And I've picked up almost everything that she did by eye. The only thing that I don't want to make is make samosa leaves. I can't stand making samosa leaves. I buy my own samosa leaves. But yeah, but the love for the kitchen came purely from that. And it was a way, when after I got married, it was a way as an extra income for myself and my husband, for me making these savouries and selling. And at that time it was just friends that wanted here and there something. It wasn't a business as such. But just like I said, just an extra income. But alhamdulillah, the knowledge came from me just looking and seeing, and yeah, it's something that I love doing. So yeah, that's where the whole thing started.
Yes, and I guess like with the passion and like you say, when more orders will come, or you'll just see people, it's when it aligns.
Yes.
It's where it's meant to be.
Meant to be.
Yes. Do you have any advice for youth or women who's found in a position of maybe either retrenchment or youth who's wanting to come into this industry? Yeah, some advice or some tips, or just to make it easier.
Yeah. Advice for youth, I would say, is like I would tell my kids is get your education, whether it is working for administrator or being electrical or even in the line of savvy business. Get your education, go and work for a boss if you can, but in the meantime try and basically be an entrepreneur. Try and start your own business, because at the end of the day, you don't know if you're going to be the type of person that's going to want to be working for a boss your whole life long. If you are an entrepreneur, you can then sidestep or leave your job and then start your own business, and you have something to fall back on. Okay. Don't just be comfortable with one item, because that's a mistake that most people in my generation, or even before me, probably did. So they were just comfortable in the comfort zone of working for a company, working for a boss, satisfying them, but forgetting about themselves. And then the day that they lost their job or left their job for whatever reason, they did not know what to do. Okay. So that is what happened in my situation. Most of my colleagues, that when we were retrenched, is that they did not know what to do.
Oh, wow.
They were stuck, and they did not know what the next step was. Alhamdulillah, I knew what I wanted to do. Although Fairouz Delights wasn't a vision from the beginning, it became a vision when my daughter was in grade 6 or grade 5, I think, and she had a project. And then she and her friends took my sideline business at that time. And they're like, Mommy, we need to have a name for the business. What are we going to do? I said, use Fairouz Delights, man. And you never know what will happen. And that was like way back, I don't know what year that was. And then we created the name. And then when I eventually, like I said, when I had to leave the company, I was like, okay, might as well just use Fairouz Delights and let's just see what happens. Alhamdulillah.
And again, like I say, back in the day that happened, and it's aligned for you to, where it was meant to be. Alhamdulillah. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this interview, to just in general? In general, on that point again, where you asked about the youth, what advice I would give, I would say to anybody, youth or no youth, in the older days, to put it like that, try and do something for yourself. Yes, work for a company, work for the boss, make the boss rich. You have stress there, but do something for yourself. Because in the meantime, the way things are going these days, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And we need to look after ourselves too. Stress on the work level is different to stress on your own personal stress if you have your own business. That is totally different. Yeah. But you need to look after yourself.
So look after your business, look after your health. Everything will align at the end of the day, inshallah. And we hope it stays like that.
Shukran so much, Fairouz, for participating with us and in celebrating Women's Month.
Alhamdulillah. Shukran for having me.
Afwan.